Members of the jury, prosecution's case is that the defendant, Dr. Jonathan Francis, a practicing gynaecologist, although he is not a specialist in this field, obtained money from one of his patients by false pretenses. That is the crux of this case, and we must not forget it. Now, taking money as a condition for arranging an adoption is a very minor offence, punishable only by a fine. And the reason I emphasize this is that the manner in which he obtained that money may appear to you to be even more outrageous than the charge on which he appears before this court. From November 1971, Dr. Francis had as his patient a woman named Mrs. Hine. After 2.5 years and exhaustive tests, Mrs. Hine finally accepted that she was unable to have children and was advised to seek adoption. This she did. But for various reasons, she and her husband were unsuccessful until Dr. Francis offered to arrange an adoption for them. Now, this practice of third-party adoption, although it is frowned upon in adoption circles, is not illegal. However, as I have said, it is illegal to take any money for this service. So when Dr. Francis mentioned money, and he mentioned and received £2,000, Mrs. Hine believed that it was for the expenses of the natural mother and that it was quite proper for her to make such a payment. In fact, the sum of £2,000 by far exceeded any medical expenses involved. Thus, Dr. Francis obtained, by deception, money for which he had done nothing. He had succeeded in selling a baby, although he had, by his deception, managed to conceal this from the purchaser. My first witness is Detective Inspector Williams.
I am Charles Edward Williams, a Detective Inspector in Fulchester CID, my lord.
On the 20th of March of this year, did you receive certain information about some adoption proceedings which had been started in the Fulchester Magistrates' Court but later adjourned?
That is correct.
Do you know who had procured this adjournment?
The guardian ad litem, Miss Pearl of the Fulchester Social Services Department.
Oh dear, I see some quizzical looks amongst the jury already, Mrs. Dixon.
Yes, my lord. Members of the jury, the guardian ad litem is the person appointed by the Magistrates' Court to see that the adoption is satisfactory and that the law is observed. In this case, a social worker from the Fulchester Social Services, a Miss Pearl. What action did you take when you were asked to make these inquiries, Mr.
Well, first I went to see Mrs. Hine.
Mrs. Hine, I have mentioned, is the adoptive mother. Did she at the time have charge of the infant?
Yes.
And did you tell her of these allegations?
I did.
And as a result of this interview, what did you do?
I went to see Dr. Francis, who had arranged the adoption.
And what happened when you saw him?
I told him that I had reason to believe that he had accepted £2,000 in respect of the adoption that he had arranged for Mrs. Hine.
What did he say to this?
He said that the money was for the mother's medical expenses, £1,500 of it, and that £500 was Mrs. Hine's own fees.
Did you point out to him that payment of the natural mother's medical expenses was illegal?
I did, but he begged to differ.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he said the payment was a purely philanthropic gesture on the part of Mr. and Mrs. Hine, and that the adoption did not depend on it.
That the payment and the adoption were two entirely separate matters?
That is correct.
Did you ask him anything else?
I asked if any of the money had been for himself, and he said it hadn't.
And after further inquiries, did you see Dr. Francis again?
Yes, I saw the mother, Miss Sylvia Spencer, then I saw Mr. and Mrs. Hine, and I saw Dr. Francis again 4 days later.
And what happened?
I arrested and cautioned him.
Did he say anything to you after you had arrested him?
Nothing.
Thank you.
Detective Inspector, help me if you will. There was something you saw or heard during your investigations which convinced you that Dr. Francis had misrepresented to Mr. and Mrs. Hine the purpose of this £2,000. Now, that is the case, is it not?
Yes, there was.
Yes, what was this evidence?
Mrs. Hine's account of the events.
Oh, so it was Mrs. Hine's word against Dr. Francis?
Among other things, yes.
Now, just after she had heard that the adoption proceedings had been adjourned, the day after, in fact, you saw Mrs. Hine, did you not?
Yes.
Yes, you went to her home?
Yes.
And did you tell her that you were a police officer?
I did.
Yes, and then I suppose you began asking your questions.
Yes.
Did she appear nervous?
She was upset, certainly.
Yes. When you mentioned to her that the sum of money which she had paid might have been illegal, did this seem to frighten her? Did she react in any way that you could perceive?
Yes, she was shocked.
And had you any information about this sum of money before, the sum of money that was involved, before you saw Mrs. Hyde?
Yes, I was told that a sum of £500 was believed to have been paid, but there was some doubt about what it was for. So in view of this, I interviewed the mother of the child, Miss Sylvia Spencer, and she confirmed that she had seen a bill for that amount. Well, owing to the discrepancy between that and the amount that Mrs. Hyne had paid, I went along to see her.
Yes, and how much had Mrs. Hyne tell you she had paid?
£2,000.
Evidently she had not disclosed this payment before. That is to say, she had not disclosed it to Miss Pearl, the infant's guardian.
No, I suppose not.
No. Well, I have one more question, Inspector, and it is a point on which the jury should be absolutely clear. It is true, is it not, that Dr. Francis told you that he believed that this payment that Mr. and Mrs. Hyne were offering was a payment of purely philanthropic gesture?
That is true.
Yes. And yet you chose to believe Mrs. Hyne, in her shocked state, in preference to a reputable member of the medical profession. Yes, I have no further questions, my lord.
If your lordship has no further questions.
No. Thank you, Mr. Williams. You may go.
I call Miss Sylvia Spencer. You are Miss Sylvia Mary Spencer of 13 Trebizond Road, Birmingham.
Yes,
And you are a bakery assistant?
yes.
Miss Spencer, in about the spring of 1973, did you discover something about yourself?
I was going to have a baby.
At this time, were you living in Birmingham?
Yes,
And did you leave Birmingham and come to Fulchester?
yes.
Why was that? To see someone?
Yes.
Who?
Valerie.
Her full name?
Valerie Goff.
How long have you known her?
We was at school.
You have known her since you were at school.
Yes.
And what was Miss Goff's employment at the time?
She worked for Dr. Francis.
She worked for the accused. In what capacity?
Receptionist.
And what did you want to see her about?
My baby.
Was it to procure an abortion?
No, I didn't.
Did you want to see your friend to get some advice?
Yes.
Now, precisely what was it you wanted to ask her?
Well, was this advice on how to effect an abortion on your own, on yourself?
Yes.
Yes, you wanted to terminate your own pregnancy.
Yes.
So you hadn't come to Fulchester to see if Dr. Francis would perform an abortion for you?
No, I hadn't got the money.
No, and so you were trying to get rid of the pregnancy on your own?
Yes.
And so you came to Fulchester especially to see Miss Goff?
Yes.
And did she give you advice on terminating this pregnancy?
No. She said she'd try and find out. And she said Dr. Francis wanted to see me.
Yes, I wonder if you could try to speak a little more loudly, Miss Spencer.
Sorry.
She told you that Dr. Francis wanted to see you.
Yes.
But had you asked to see Dr. Francis?
No.
Miss Spencer, why did you wish to get rid of your child?
Because of my parents.
Did they tell you to?
No, I haven't told them.
Well, what about the father of your child? Did he have nothing to say?
I don't know.
Do you know who the father is?
Yes.
Well, I mean, what did he think about you wanting to get rid of his child?
He left.
Was he against your getting rid of it?
I don't know.
Go on.
Do you mean, Miss Spencer, that the father left when he heard that you were pregnant?
Yes.
And one may presume for that reason, that that was why?
Yes.
And have you seen him since?
No.
I see. Now, you have said that you did not actually ask to see Dr. Francis.
No.
That is what you have said.
Yes, but my friend said he wanted to see me.
So it was at Dr. Francis's request that you went to see him?
Yes.
On what date did you see him?
The 17th of August.
Last year.
Yes.
And what happened when you saw him?
He looked at me and he said I was too late to get rid of it.
Well, did he give you any other reason why you couldn't get rid of it?
No. He just said it was so late it would be dangerous.
Well, did he say perhaps that you might want to keep the child once you'd had it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Were you frightened when he said it could be dangerous?
Yes.
Did he say anything about other doctors?
He said someone else might do it just for the money, but that it would be dangerous.
Did he say how many weeks pregnant you were?
18 weeks, I think.
Yes, now, had you calculated before you went to see Dr. Francis how pregnant you were?
I thought I was just past 3 months.
Yeah.
That's about 14 weeks.
Yes.
And did you tell him this?
Yes.
And what did he say?
Not to be silly.
But did you not tell him the date from which you thought your pregnancy had started?
He said I must have made a mistake.
Well, on what date did you say your pregnancy had begun?
Round about May. It's round about the beginning of
Which month? Which month?
May.
You really must try to speak up, Miss Spencer.
Sorry.
What date in May?
About the 10th.
So that would have meant that on the 17th of August, when you saw Dr. Francis, you would have been about 13 to 14 weeks pregnant.
Yes.
Did he make any suggestion as to what you might do?
You said I must tell my parents.
Did you tell him that you were afraid of your parents finding out?
Yes.
Now, why were you against telling your parents?
My dad had killed me.
Oh, what on earth gave you that impression?
He never liked my boyfriend.
Do you really mean you thought he might kill you, or are you merely saying that he would have been very angry?
No, he'd have belted me with a belt.
Had he ever belted you in the past?
He was always belting me and my sister.
I see.
And so you told him that you couldn't tell your parents?
Yes.
Did he suggest any other course?
He said he knew someone who might adopt and help with the money that they might.
Was this on condition that you handed over the child? And did he make this clear from the beginning?
He said, of course, they'd only pay if they got it.
Did Dr. Francis make any suggestion as to what you might do in the meantime?
He said he'd get me a room when it started to show. That I'd move here. And I'd stay in the room and he'd get me a part-time job. And when there was only a few weeks, I'd go into a nursing home and have it. I'd never have to see it.
And at the time, did you welcome this suggestion?
It was the only way.
Did your parents ask you where you were going?
Yes. I told them I was going to stay with Valerie, that I got a job with Dr. Francis.
And did Dr. Francis confirm this for you?
Yes, he wrote to them. He said he'd give me a job.
Was this true?
No.
May we have Exhibit 1, please? Miss Spencer, would you look at that letter? Have you ever seen it before?
Yes. I was at home when my dad got it.
Now, for how long did you stay in this room?
4 months.
And did you visit Dr. Francis during that time?
Yes.
How often?
About once a week.
Oh, you say about. Well, was this more or less than once a week, do you think?
No, it was about once.
So that would amount to about 12 visits.
Yes.
Did he give you any treatment on these visits?
He just talked usually. He gave me pills.
Did he give you a course of injections?
No.
Did he ever encourage you or suggest to you that you should go and see another doctor?
No.
And at the end of these visits, would he tell you to come again on a given date?
Yes.
Did you ever go to see him on a day when you had no appointment?
No.
Would you say that up to this time your pregnancy was straightforward? No problems?
Yes.
Now, you had a job, did you not?
Yes.
Was it ever necessary for you to be absent from work during those 4 months?
No.
And so the situation is that you lived in this room for 4 months, during which time you visited Dr. Francis once a week.
Yes.
On what date were you expecting your child to be born?
The beginning of February.
But in January, what happened?
Dr. Francis said, he said I've got to go in early.
Why?
He said it'd have to be an operation.
Was this operation that Dr. Francis said you would have to have called a caesarean section?
Yes. This might be a good moment to adjourn.
This part of your testimony is understandably painful to you, Miss Spencer, and I shall try to be brief. Was the operation that Dr. Francis told you you would have to have called a caesarean section?
He said it would be better for me.
Did you object?
No,
Did you have any symptoms at this time that might have been the reason for doing this operation?
did I?
Yes, did you?
No,
Did you have any bleeding that you noticed?
no,
Are you sure of this?
yes.
On what date was your child delivered?
The 4th of January.
And did you see it?
No,
Did you ask to see it?
I did after.
What do you mean?
I didn't want to see it right away, but I did after.
Did you want to keep the baby?
Yes.
Did you tell Dr. Francis? What did he say?
He showed me a bill. He said, who's going to pay for it if they didn't? He said, did I want him to send it to me dad?
A bill? For how much?
£500.
Did you ask Dr. Francis if you could see the baby?
Yes.
And what did he say?
He said it had gone, so I couldn't.
Where had it gone?
To the new mother and father. He said it was all done. He said he was very happy and I mustn't be selfish. He said it was a very good home and they got plenty of money. I was quite grateful, really.
And so you did eventually give your consent.
Yes, I signed.
Did you know at the time that you could have refused to sign and have your child returned to you?
No,
Did Dr. Francis not tell you?
no,
Had he at any time expressed the hope that you would want to keep your baby?
oh no, he said the opposite.
Now, when you went to sign the consent, did Dr. Francis go with you?
Yes,
And what happened afterwards?
he gave me £100.
He gave you £100. Was this in cash?
Yes,
Did he say what the money was for?
he said for being a good girl.
I see. Did he do anything else after you signed the consent?
Yes, he tore up the bill. He said we could forget about it now.
Do you now say that you signed the consent against your will?
Yes,
Was it because of Dr. Francis?
yes, it was.
And would you have liked to have kept your baby?
Yes.
I have no further questions, my lord. Thank you, Miss Spencer.
I must warn you, Miss Spencer, I have no time for this show of emotion. It is one thing to change one's mind, but then to lay the blame for one's own mistakes at the door of the person who has the most right to one's gratitude is wicked.
Oh, I'm sure you have some questions, Mr. Golding.
My lord. Now let me ask you, Miss Spencer. Miss Spencer, let me ask you. Why did you want to see Dr. Francis in the first place?
I don't know.
Oh, come, Miss Spencer, you know very well. You've told the court once at the beginning of your testimony. Now, why did you want to see Dr. Francis in the first place?
Because I was pregnant.
You would agree that you wanted to see him?
Yes,
Yes, because you said earlier that it was Dr. Francis who wanted to see you. But in fact, you wanted to see him because you wanted an abortion, didn't you?
yes,
Yes, you wanted to get rid of your child.
yes.
And when you found that you could not have it aborted, you welcomed the idea that it could be adopted.
No,
Surely when Dr. Francis suggested that instead of a dangerous abortion, he should arrange an adoption, you agreed.
Yes.
Yes, you've told the court as much. And who arranged all these things for you?
Dr. Francis.
Dr. Francis, who looked after you during your pregnancy, who arranged your confinement, who arranged your convalescence. This man who you have tried to paint as an ogre arranged all these things for you, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes. At your request?
Yes.
Yes, and you didn't want your parents to find out that you were pregnant, did you?
No.
And who arranged that they shouldn't?
Yes.
Dr. Francis?
Yes.
Yes. And did you, in the end, pay anything at all towards this costly, time-consuming business?
No.
No. Now, I would like now to look at the treatment you received, Miss Spencer. Now, you've told my learned friend that you visited Dr. Francis on 12 occasions.
Yes.
Well, did you keep a record of these?
No.
Well, I'm instructed, Miss Spencer, that you in fact visited Dr. Francis on 47 occasions.
No.
Well, you say that your visits occurred about once a week?
Yes.
Yes, and that you first visited Dr. Francis when you were 14 weeks pregnant?
Yes.
Yes, and that you then had the baby sometime during the 36th week?
Yes.
Well, the mathematics are very simple, Miss Spencer. It shows that you were under Dr. Francis' care for 22 weeks, which means by your own testimony you must have visited him on 22 occasions.
I don't know exactly.
Of course not. You kept no record. And of course you were under severe strain at the time, were you not?
Yes.
Yes. And in fact, you visited him twice a week, or were visited by him twice a week, although many of these were, as it were, unscheduled visits.
I hardly ever saw him once a week.
Now, this bill that you mentioned to his lordship, if bill it was for £500?
Yes.
Yes. What was that for, do you know?
For me?
For your treatment?
Yes.
Yes. What part of your treatment? What was it, for the nursing home? For the operation? For the treatment as the pregnancy went on? For the treatment of some infection or other? What?
I don't know.
You don't know. And the reason is that the bill never existed, did it? It's a figment of your imagination.
No, it's true.
But you don't know what it was for. Now, Miss Spencer, you have said, and it is a serious allegation, that Dr. Francis put pressure on you to sign this consent to adoption. Now, you did say that, did you not?
Yes.
Yes. And you've implied that part of this pressure consisted of Dr. Francis threatening to tell your father.
Yes, he did.
Well, are you seriously saying that the threat that Dr. Francis would tell your father that you had a baby in some way pressurized you into agreeing to have the child adopted?
Yes, it did.
But, Miss Spencer, had you not signed that consent, had you not agreed to have the baby adopted, you must have envisaged your father finding out. A baby's a very difficult thing to conceal, particularly as it grows older.
I wasn't going back to my father.
In that case, he wouldn't have found out anyway. Now, I suggest that when you began talking about keeping the child, Dr. Francis merely advised you that you would have to square things with your father somehow.
Yes.
Yes. And that this prospect so frightened you to such an extent that you willingly signed the consent.
No.
But your father did frighten you, did he not, Miss Spencer?
Yes.
You see, Miss Spencer, I suggest to you that you've been through an emotional and very trying time. I suggest that you've experienced feelings of fear, even perhaps of guilt. And in this emotional turmoil, you have mistaken your wisest and most compassionate counselor for your enemy.
No.
The case of the Queen against Francis will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. The jury in the case of the Queen against Francis has heard how Sylvia Spencer, a young girl from Birmingham, came to Fulchester last year wanting an abortion. Dr. Jonathan Francis advised her to have the baby, assuring her that he could arrange adoption. After the baby was born, he placed it with another of his patients, Mrs. Hine, who paid him £2,000. Any payment for adoption services is illegal if the adoption is in any way conditional on that transaction. It is alleged that Mrs. Hine was deceived into paying the money.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the book in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Mary Agnes Hine of 23 Birchington Road, Fulchester.
Yes.
Do you know Dr. Jonathan Francis?
Yes.
Is he your doctor?
Yes. He was.
When did you first become his patient?
In 1971.
You were consulting him, were you not, because of your apparent inability to bear children?
Yes.
How did you first hear of him?
My husband met him at the Rotary Club.
Can you tell me about the early stages when you first went to see Dr. Francis?
I went to see him. We both went, myself and my husband, and he talked to us, asked us about it, and he gave us both tests. They seemed to be all right, and well, certainly my husband was all right, and he told us we'd have to go on trying. He put me on a diet. He wanted me to put on weight, and I used to go and see him regularly, and he gave me injections. He used to encourage me and tell me I was right as rain.
And so you were visiting him regularly, and at this time you still thought that there was a chance you could conceive.
I still hoped.
But some time later, I believe you had a test which rather put paid to this hope. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, well, there's nothing to tell, really. I had the test. He did it in the clinic, and he said it wasn't very good, and he'd found out why, and did I want to give up? I said, no, I wanted to try every avenue open to me.
And what did Dr. Francis advise?
An operation. I forget the name of it.
Did he hold out much hope of this operation being successful?
Oh, we both hoped. He was always very comforting, but he said it definitely wasn't certain.
But he realised how much it meant to you to have children.
Yes, me and my husband.
Women commonly feel that they are letting their husbands down if they are not able to have children. Did you feel this?
Well, you see, my husband was very understanding.
Yes, I'm sure he was. But did you personally feel that you were letting him down?
I suppose I did, in a way.
And did you tell Dr. Francis this?
Yes.
And what was the result of the operation?
It's hard to say, really. It was still no good.
And what did Dr. Francis say after the operation?
Well, he said it was a bit better. He had a bit of hope, but we'd have to go on trying.
But you still did not conceive?
No.
Did you continue to see Dr. Francis after the operation?
Yes, I had another test, and he kept me on injections to keep me, to keep me healthy.
I see. Now, this operation was in October of 1972, was it not?
Yes.
How soon after this did he mention the possibility of adoption?
Oh, my lord, the witness has not said, as my learned friend's question implies, that it was Dr. Francis who raised this possibility first.
Yes, I apologise. Mrs. Hine, did Dr. Francis mention the possibility of adoption to you during your treatment?
Well, later on, yes, he did. He said I wasn't to forget I could always adopt.
Which of you first mentioned adoption?
He did.
And after the operation, did you or he first mention the possibility of adoption?
He mentioned it again.
He mentioned it?
Yes, he said we should think seriously about it.
And did you decide to take his advice?
In June, last June, things weren't looking too good, and we decided we would.
Did you tell him you were going to?
Yes. I went to see him, and he told me some societies, to go and see the people at the council. He said there probably wouldn't be much help, but to go and see them anyway.
Did he say to let him know how you got on?
Yes, he did.
And how did you get on?
Not very well. None of the societies didn't seem to be interested in us.
How many did you go to?
Countless.
Your husband in his evidence said 4.
Oh, maybe we only went to see 4, but it was ringing them up and writing to them. I think I tried every adoption society in England. We went to the local ones, I think that's 4, and the people at the council, but we had no luck at all.
Did you tell Dr. Francis this?
Yes.
When?
Well, we were getting, not desperate, but we were thinking of giving up at the end of October, and I rang Dr. Francis at the beginning of November.
And what did he say?
He said he'd see what he could do, and not to worry. He always said not to worry.
And when did you first hear that he had a child for you to adopt?
My husband came home about the 2nd week of January, and he told...
What did he say?
That he'd been to see Dr. Francis. He thought he'd got us a child.
And how did you react?
I was very pleased.
And after your husband told you the news, did you then go and see Dr. Francis?
Yes, we went to see him the next day.
And what happened?
He told us it was a little girl. She was about a week old, and if we got everything ready, we could have her in a fortnight.
Was there any mention of money at this meeting?
Well, he told us about the girl and all her difficulties, the treatment and expenses. And, well, my husband and I, we offered to pay for the medical expenses if it was in order. My husband had suggested that to Dr. Francis the day before.
Did you offer to contribute or to pay all the expenses?
All of them.
And what did Dr. Francis say?
Well, he said he could see nothing wrong with a voluntary payment. Those were his words, and that it was very generous of us.
Did he mention a particular sum?
Yes, I gave him £500.
Now, was this £500 the full amount that you paid him?
No, he said that the cost of the treatment had been almost £2,000.
Didn't that seem an awful lot to you?
Yes, it did, and we asked him about it because we were afraid the baby might not be all right. You see, if the mother had had all that trouble, we were afraid the baby might be affected.
Yeah.
And did he reassure you on this point?
Oh, yes, he said some things, that she'd had an operation, a nursing home, and... lots of things. And anyway, we didn't like to argue just as long as it was all right.
Yeah, and so you had no other reservations about paying this money?
No, we just asked if it would be all right.
If the baby would be all right?
No, if it was all right for us to pay this money for the mother, legal.
Yes, but why did you ask this? Did you think it might be wrong?
Well, it's hard to say, really. I mean, we knew you weren't allowed to pay for a baby.
Yes.
Something worried me. I suppose I did think it might not be all right.
And he said it definitely would be all right, and it was just medical expenses?
Yes.
Yes, and did you accept this?
Yes.
Now, is it possible that some of this money was for treatment which you yourself had received from Dr. Francis?
Absolutely not. I paid my bills every year. He always sent us a bill at the end of every year, and I paid it immediately. My solicitor's got all these accounts, all the cheques. It's all been paid.
Are we going to see these accounts?
They were to have been entered as exhibits, my lord, but they do not specify what treatment it is that was paid for. They're quite unspecific and not disputed.
Yeah.
Mrs. Hine, did you ever consult Dr. Francis on matters other than gynaecological ones?
No.
Did you never consult him about a cough or a cold?
No.
Well, who did you consult on these matters?
My GP, Dr. Young.
Yes, and so you are certain that the £500 that you paid Dr. Francis was inseparable from the £1,500 that you paid him, and that he represented the whole amount as being payment for the natural mother's expenses?
I'm certain, yes.
And did you pay this £500 by cheque or in cash?
By cheque.
During this meeting, was there any discussion as to how the balance of the £2,000 was to be paid?
I said we could pay it later.
When you received the child?
No, he didn't say that, just later.
Did he say how he wanted this money paid?
Yes, in cash.
Did that surprise you?
Yes, but he said he didn't want the taxman to think it was for treatment, since it was for this girl. It was to do with tax.
And you accepted that as the genuine reason?
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Hine, I want to be absolutely sure that I understand. Now, you say that you honestly believe, because of what Dr. Francis had said, that this payment was for Miss Spencer's medical expenses and that it was quite proper for you to pay it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when did you take charge of the child?
2 weeks later.
Did you go and collect it?
Yes, we went to Dr. Francis's house.
And did you then pay the further sum of money?
Yes.
£1,500?
Yes.
Was this in cash, as he had asked?
Yes.
And so you received the child?
Yes.
Did you ask Dr. Francis about the adoption proceedings?
Yes, he said we'd have to go to the magistrate's court later on to have the adoption finalised.
Had Dr. Francis taken care of the legal side of the adoption as well as everything else?
Yes,
for
he
you?
arranged all that.
And did you then take the child home?
Yes.
Now, what happened when you went to the magistrate's court?
It had been cancelled.
Did you know why?
No, we asked. There was a man there, he said it had just been cancelled, that's all.
Had no one warned you?
No.
When did you find out why the hearing had been cancelled?
We tried to get in touch with Dr. Francis and we couldn't.
Why
And
couldn't you?
Well, I don't know. He just wasn't there. He wasn't available. I don't know, but we
Yes,
couldn't.
but Mrs. Hine, how did you find out about the hearing being cancelled?
The next day, 2 plainclothes police officers came round and they said it was concerning the baby. And we asked them why had the hearing been cancelled, and they said there were some inquiries to make.
Did they ask about payments of money?
Yes.
And what did you tell them?
Oh, the truth, that we'd just paid some money for the mother's medical expenses.
I suppose it would be true to say, Mrs. Hine, that you are very much concerned to try to keep this child.
Yes.
And you appreciate that if you had been involved in anything improper, it would severely jeopardize your position.
Yes.
Mrs. Hine, when you went to see Dr. Francis, your husband had already told you about the baby.
Yes.
And you had made up your mind to adopt it.
Pretty well.
Pretty well. Well, what were your reservations?
None, really.
No. So, you went to see Dr. Francis. Now, what did he say to you about the money?
Well, he told us about the baby and the child, and he said there was this £2,000 to pay.
Well, he must have said more than that, surely.
Yes, try to be precise, Mrs. Hine. How exactly was the subject of payment broached?
He said there was this £2,000 to pay for medical expenses.
Yes. Now, was this before or after you had said that you would adopt the child?
Afterwards, he told us about the baby, asked if we were interested in adopting, and said there was this amount to pay.
And you did not query this payment?
No, just as long as it was all right.
And did you ask for a detailed breakdown of what the expenses were?
Not really.
And Dr. Francis said that the money was for medical expenses?
Yes.
Yes, no mention of whose medical expenses?
Yes, for the mother.
Really? But you told his lordship just a moment ago that he said that there was £2,000 to pay for medical expenses. Nothing about for the mother.
But that's what he said.
The fact is, Mrs. Hine, you know very well that the £500 you paid that day by cheque was a settlement of Dr. Francis' fees for your own gynaecological tests and treatment, leaving approximately £1,500 being the cost of Miss Spencer's hospitalisation and operation, which you and your husband offered to pay.
No, nothing like that at all.
And which Dr. Francis accepted only in the belief that the adoption was in no way conditional on this payment. I have no further questions, my lord.
Mrs. Hine, you paid £2,000 for the mother's medical expenses, Dr. Francis, and then the police came and told you that the medical expenses were only £500. So they then suggested to you that you might have paid £1,500 for the baby, making it an illegal payment.
Yes.
And you explained, as you did today, that if the medical expenses were only £500, then you had been deceived.
My lord, may I ask if you propose to continue this line of questioning?
Yes, I do.
Then, my lord, might I respectfully suggest that Mrs. Hine should be warned of her privilege against self-incrimination. Her right not to answer any questions which might lead to incriminate her.
Oh, I'm very much obliged to you, Mrs. Dixon. You understand that, Mrs. Hine. You don't need to answer any questions which might tend to incriminate you.
Yes.
Now, during the 2 weeks which preceded your taking charge of the infant, were you visited by a social worker from the local authority?
Yes.
And did this woman ask you about any payments you had made to Dr. Francis?
Among other things, yes.
And what did you tell her?
About the money? Well, the truth, that we hadn't given him anything.
But you had, Mrs. Hine.
Yes, but it wasn't for him, it was for the mother. He said it was for the mother.
Why did you not feel that you could explain this to the social worker?
I thought she might misunderstand.
And if she misunderstood, you feared you might lose the child?
Yes.
Did you tell Dr. Francis about this meeting?
Yes.
And what did he say?
He said it was best not to mention it, as it was for the mother. He said I'd done the right thing.
I see. Yes. Now, during the period between the time that you took charge of the child and the time when you expected the adoption hearing, were you visited again by this social worker?
Yes.
And did she again ask you about payments to Dr. Francis?
Yes.
And what did you tell her this time?
The same.
That you had paid Dr. Francis nothing?
Yes.
But, Mrs. Hine, by this time you had paid Dr. Francis some £2,000.
Yes, but it was for the mother, he said.
Why did you persist in this falsehood?
But it wasn't, it was true. Dr. Francis told us to say that. And anyway, everything was so nearly over, it didn't seem to do any harm.
Now, did this social worker tell you that any such payment would be illegal if the adoption of the child was conditional upon the transaction?
All we'd done was pay for the mother's medical expenses, her treatment.
Did she tell you that it would be illegal?
Oh, it was too late. By then we'd paid it.
So she did tell you it was illegal?
What could we do? We'd already paid.
Are you in the habit of lying persistently as you did to this woman?
No.
Now, when the police came to see you at your home, this was a shock, wasn't it?
Yes.
Particularly when you realized that you might have connived at something that was illegal.
Oh, not on purpose.
The adoption hearing had been postponed and you were anxious to keep the child, which by now you would probably come to look upon as your own.
We did. We do.
Now, have you told the truth when you say you believed that this payment was for the mother's medical expenses and that you volunteered it? Or are you saying all this just to get yourself off the hook?
It's the truth.
But, Mrs. Hine, when you were able to lie as you did to the social worker, are you now asking this court to believe that you were under the impression that this large payment was for the medical expenses of one pregnant woman? Or are you saying all this because you fear the child will be taken from you?
It's not true, my lord. I want the baby. I can give it a good home.
Very well.
I have no re-examination, my lord.
Thank you, Mrs. Hine. You may go.
That, my lord, concludes the case for the prosecution.
I call the defendant, Dr. Jonathan Austin Francis. You are Dr. Jonathan Austin Francis of number 2 Rodney Close, Fulchester?
Yes.
Yes, and you are a registered medical practitioner?
Yes.
And is Mrs. Hine one of your patients?
She was, yes.
Dr. Francis, were you visited by Miss Sylvia Spencer on the 17th of August last year?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of her visit?
She wanted an abortion.
Now, could you tell the court why you were unwilling to perform an abortion?
Well, I never like to perform an abortion, is the short answer to that one.
But Miss Spencer wanted an abortion.
Did she?
Well, she said that she did.
Ah, yes. Well, that's a very different thing, isn't it? You see, I do perform abortions, that is true, if a case falls under the terms of the Abortion Act. But if a girl walks into my surgery, as Sylvia did, and says, I'm 18 weeks pregnant and I want to get rid of 14 weeks, I think she said she was 14 weeks, and I want to get rid of it, I just don't say, fine, give me the money and we'll do it right away. Not at all. It was very clear to me that she had a puritanical father of whom she was terrified. And it was to prevent him finding out that she was pregnant, and to a lesser extent because her boyfriend had left her, that she wanted this abortion. I couldn't agree to that. First and foremost, because it's a very bad reason, and secondly, because there was a high risk involved. And that is why I didn't take the matter any further, didn't even attempt the second opinion required under the Act. Also, she would have involved herself in expenses far beyond her means.
Yes. What did you advise her to do?
I advised her, in the first place, to leave home. She was very frightened of this idea at first. Above all, she wanted to know what would happen if she decided to have the baby but didn't want to keep it. And I told her, women all over England who'd envy her, and that I could find her a dozen who'd be willing to adopt it tomorrow. And not to worry.
And so you did mention adoption to her?
Well, naturally. It's the first thing to mention to a girl who feels her child isn't wanted. It prevents her feeling trapped. It takes away the idea that a termination is the only last resort.
And did you offer to nurse her through her pregnancy?
I said that, wait a minute, we're jumping ahead a little. First of all, she decided she would leave home and come and stay with her friend Valerie Goff, my receptionist, as you know. Valerie's mother didn't think very much of this idea, but that's another story. Then she said, if she decided not to have the abortion, could she come and see me? And I said, of course, and that is the arrangement we came to.
Now, did you take any money from her?
Not a penny.
Yeah. Now, Miss Spencer's treatment turned out to be far more complicated than you could have envisaged, did it not?
Far more.
Could you tell us about that?
Yes. You see, having advised Sylvia for various sound reasons to have this baby, I was obviously to some extent responsible for her well-being. Now, the general state of her health was not very good, and I think that this, combined with the fact that she was away from home for the first time, caused her to become rather depressed and run down. And not a good state for a pregnant woman, I think you'll understand. It makes her much more susceptible to infection. I put her on a course of vitamin injections, folic acid, intramuscular iron injections, and so on. But in spite of this, she developed an infection of the urinary tract, which could have become nasty, and which I treated, and then she was in need of sedation, and she was depressed and became more depressed, and so on and so on. In fact, it was a very nasty pregnancy.
Yes. Now, how often were you seeing her at this time?
Oh, 2 or 3 times a week. I tried to get her to go to a national health doctor, but to no avail.
Or did she refuse?
On the contrary, she always agreed. She just never did anything about it. And then it was necessary to deliver her by caesarean section.
Now, why was that?
Well, I diagnosed what is called a placenta previa. She had an antepartum hemorrhage, which is a slight loss of blood. And I could tell from this and from examination that the placenta was blocking the neck of the womb, in which case the child wouldn't have been able to emerge. It would quite literally have run into the placenta.
I see. And so you performed a caesarean section?
Yes.
Now, what did this involve you in the way of expense?
Well, it involves Sylvia going into a very good nursing home which had operating theatre facilities, which very few of them have, and staying on after her operation for some weeks. 4 weeks in all, I think. You see, you must remember, she was living away from home, and all the care and attention that a normal patient would get from their family, Sylvia had to get professionally. That is to say, she had to pay for it.
The case of the Queen against Francis will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Dr. Jonathan Francis is now giving evidence in his own defense after he's been charged with obtaining money by deception. He was paid £2,000 by one of his patients, Mrs. Hine, after he'd arranged for her to adopt a baby. Such a payment for adoption services is illegal, but he claims that the money was for legitimate medical expenses. It is alleged that he thus deceived Mrs. Hine into paying him. He now explains how he was able to act as a go-between for 2 of his patients, a girl who wanted an abortion and an infertile wife.
I have treated a lot of women who were having difficulty in conceiving, but I've never come across any to whom it seemed to matter as much as it did to Mrs. Hine.
Did it amount to a neurosis?
It did indeed.
Were there any particularly marked symptoms of it as a neurosis?
Well, she had what we call a pseudocyesis in the early stages of her treatment. It's a phantom pregnancy, a hysterical pregnancy, whatever you care to call it.
Yes. Would you tell us about this?
Yes, she came to my surgery, when was it? Oh, she'd had tests, early in '72, convinced that she was pregnant. Tummy out to here, very pleased with herself. Simply wind and water. I told her, but she refused to believe me. Eventually, I had to have her x-rayed and show her. And it disappeared while I talked to her.
Her pregnancy disappeared?
No, not her pregnancy. Her wind and water disappeared.
Oh. Do you think this was a nervous symptom of her desire to have children?
It was a symptom, undoubtedly, yes.
She was desperate, was she?
I've made it as clear as I can. She was obsessed.
Yes. And did you finally have to tell Mrs. Hine that her chances of conception were negligible?
Yes, I did. To do otherwise would have been wrong.
Yes. How did she take this news?
Very bravely. I could see that she was shattered, very depressed. The fact of the matter is she'd guessed already. She'd drawn her own conclusions, and they were basically correct.
And did you at this time talk to her about adoption?
I did indeed. It seemed the next logical step.
Yes. Now, when was this?
June.
Mm-hmm. And did you tell her to make every effort to arrange her own adoption?
Yes.
With no thought of taking any part yourself?
That's right.
Yes. Do you know what date in June?
Yes, June the 15th.
Uh-huh. And when did you first see Miss Spencer?
Sylvia? Oh, not until August.
So when you first talked to Mrs. Hine about adoption, you had not met Miss Spencer?
No.
No. Had you heard of her from Miss Goff, your receptionist?
No.
No. And so you did not have her child in mind when you first spoke to Mrs. Hine?
I didn't have any child in mind when I first spoke to Mrs. Hine. In fact, I didn't have it in mind that I should be involved in the adoption at all. I told her to go to the adoption societies.
And she took your advice, as we have heard. Now, Mrs. Hine returned to you after some time and told you she was having no luck at all with the adoption societies, did she not?
Indeed.
Yes. Did this surprise you?
Well, it did, frankly, yes. They are an eminently suitable couple for adoption.
And did you sympathize with their plight?
I was very sorry for them, yes.
And when did you hear from them about this?
Early November.
Or was this about the time that Miss Spencer was due to have her child?
No. Sylvia had a hemorrhage early in January. If her baby had gone full term, it wouldn't have been due until mid-January. No, I wasn't expecting Sylvia's for quite some weeks yet.
Yes. And so what did you tell Mrs. Hine?
Well, not much. To keep on trying, and I'd see what I could do.
Yes. And what happened?
Well, Sylvia hemorrhaged. I realized I'd have to do the cesarean section, and, well, it went from there.
Yes. Had Miss Spencer mentioned to you during the latter stage of her pregnancy that she wanted to have the child adopted?
Yes.
Yes. So you were faced with the situation of having two patients, one whom desperately wanted a child and the other who wanted to get rid of her child. Now, in these circumstances, what did you do?
Well, I did the obvious thing. I telephoned Mr. Hine and asked him to drop in and see me, and I put it to him.
This was in early January?
Yes.
Yes. What exactly did you say to Mr. Hine?
Everything?
Well, as far as you can remember, particularly concerning the financial aspect of the matter.
I told him I might be able to arrange an adoption for him, that it was possible. Well, he accepted on the spot. He said he didn't have to think about it. Why should he? He and his wife had spent 6 months hawking around the adoption societies. He knew what they felt. I was being a bit formal in suggesting that they talk it over, but one likes to do these things properly.
Yes. Could you tell his lordship and the jury about any mention that was made of money at this meeting?
Yes. I told him that the mother was financially embarrassed and that the pregnancy had been a difficult one, and he volunteered to pay for her treatment. Well, now, this put me in a very difficult position. I didn't feel in all conscience I could refuse money offered for Sylvia, but on the other hand, I wasn't going to put my career in jeopardy by accepting what I knew could be construed as an illegal payment.
So what did you do?
Well, I agreed to act as a go-between, no more, on condition that the money was paid in cash and that no mention of it was made to anyone. I warned Mr. Hine that it could be construed as an illegal payment and that the adoption could in no way be dependent upon it.
You did make this clear to him?
I made it clear to him that, and afterwards to Mrs. Hine, although she wasn't all that attentive, that this must be a philanthropic gesture on their part.
Why did you mention the mother's financial situation to Mr. Hine in the first place, Doctor?
I didn't specifically, my lord, but I think Mr. Hine gathered from my description of Sylvia's case that she might be in straitened circumstances.
I see.
Yes. Now, did Mr. Hine accept that his gesture must be philanthropic, that it could be in no way binding on the mother?
He said he did, yes.
Yes. Now, you said just now that one of the conditions on which you agreed to accept the money on Miss Spencer's behalf was as long as they told no one and that the money was paid in cash. Now, why did you make these conditions?
Well, for fear that an incorrect construction could be put upon the payment. Remember, we're only talking here about payment for Sylvia's treatment.
Yes, I will come to Mrs. Hine's treatment later. Now, how much did Miss Spencer's treatment come to in all?
£1,475.
Yes. And is that the amount you received from Mrs. Hine?
Yes.
Now, could you tell us what the money was for in a bit more detail?
Well, if I might refer to my notes.
Yes?
Sylvia had 47 consultations, 45 antenatal, 2 postnatal. I charge £15 per consultation, that's £705. Treatment, that's drugs and so on, £170. The nursing home in which he spent 14 days at £25 a day was £350.
Yes, what did he say?
The nursing home was £350, my lord.
Yes, well, surely there should be a receipt for this sum from the nursing home.
My client had a regular arrangement with the nursing home. It is a common practice to book beds without giving the patients names, and in this case, these are not itemised on the accounts, but the total account for the year, however, was £1,575, but this is not broken down.
How very convenient for Dr. Francis.
And the operation cost £250, including the cost of the theatre and anaesthetist fee, and that is a total of £1,475, and that is what I received.
And you made no charge for arranging the adoption?
Oh, no.
Now, are your charges cheap or expensive or...?
Very expensive. But I make no apologies.
Are they comparable with what you would normally charge?
Yes.
Yes. Now, Mrs. Hine said that you were paid £2,000.
Indeed. The £500 odd was for gynaecological treatment for Mrs. Hine. A great deal of nonsense has been talked here about there being a single payment of £2,000. There was never a single payment. There were 2 separate sums. And, of course, this £500 being for her own treatment was paid by cheque, the way Mrs. Hine always paid. I really ought to say that the allegation from Mrs. Hine that the reason I wanted the other money in cash was to avoid tax or some such thing is utterly absurd. Yes?
We have heard that Mrs. Hine settled an account with you yearly.
Yes.
Well, what was this treatment for?
Well, other treatment, coughs, colds, all that sort of thing. She had allergy symptoms, I remember, a rash, sneezing, all that sort of thing.
And she consulted you about these?
Yes.
Mrs. Hine has said that she consulted another doctor about these.
It doesn't surprise me at all, quite in character.
Was she prone to illness or thinking she was ill?
If you mean was she a hypochondriac? Yes, she was. She had a very healthy appetite for talking about her complaints and so on, but that's all right. That's what doctors are for.
Yes. Now, Mrs. Hine came to see you the day after you saw Mr. Hine about this adoption, did she not?
She did indeed, they both did.
And did she agree to it readily?
Well, she'd already made up her mind. It was a foregone... Look, I know you've got to ask all these questions, but surely it must be plain to everyone that Mr. and Mrs. Hine were dying to adopt.
Yes. And did she and her husband confirm their offer of money?
Yes. And she also very kindly paid for her treatment there and then.
And that is the cheque she gave you for £500?
That is correct.
Yes. Now, did you get the impression that she understood that this payment of £500 was for her own treatment?
I didn't get the impression. I'm certain of it.
Did she query anything?
Nothing.
No. Now, did she ask you whether it was all right for them to pay the mother's costs?
No, she didn't mention it, but I told them that they must regard it as a gift for the mother.
How many third-party adoptions have you arranged, Dr. Francis?
I couldn't say. I've not counted them.
Quite a few, though.
A few, not quite a few.
Well, would you be surprised to know that you are registered as having arranged 7 of these adoptions in 6 years in Fulchester alone?
Really? Not surprised, no.
You must have provided a handsome supplement to your income.
Oh, really, my lord, that suggestion is quite impermissible.
Oh, I think not, Mr. Golding. Your client has put his character in. However, I agree that Mrs. Dixon must be bound by the answers and will not be able to take these matters very far.
Well, I must beg to
differ.
differ.
That is my ruling, Mr. Golding. Now do let's get on. Dr. Francis, Mrs. Dixon has suggested that these adoptions handsomely supplemented your income.
Not really, my lord. Most of these I would have done for friends. I wouldn't even have been involved, except perhaps to give the child a medical check-up and see that the right people were notified.
Isn't it the case that you have ready access to a lot of unwanted children and make a very substantial income by providing these children for patients who are not able to have their own?
No, it is not.
But do you frequently not encourage girls to have their unwanted children and even offer them inducements so that you can then, as you so euphemistically put it, arrange for their adoption?
It is in no way a euphemism, and it's not what I do anyway.
Well, you certainly did so where Sylvia Spencer was concerned, didn't you?
I felt a responsibility for her, and I
Yes,
arranged
you must
an
forgive
adoption.
me, Dr. Francis, if I appear to be sceptical about this feeling of responsibility which you have mentioned so often during your testimony. In fact, the only feeling of responsibility you had was towards that child for which you knew you would get a very handsome price.
You have no grounds for that assertion.
Have I not? Then tell me, why did you not merely refuse to perform an abortion for Sylvia Spencer, but actively discouraged her from seeking one elsewhere?
She could have sought one elsewhere.
Yes, but you discouraged her. You told her it was dangerous, and you said that you thought she might want to keep the child.
I told her to consider these things.
And you said that whatever decision she came to, you would not perform the abortion,
Yes, I
did you not?
did.
And you also told her that she was too late to have an abortion,
I
didn't
told
you?
her it could be dangerous at her
And
stage
you
of
also
pregnancy.
said it was beyond her financial resources.
Which it was.
Well, if this is not discouragement, Dr. Francis, you and I are using different definitions of the word.
I have not denied that I may have been discouraging. I
Nor
merely
have
wish-
you agreed.
Now, you listen to me. A year ago, I refused to perform an abortion on a 16-week pregnancy. And when that unfortunate girl found someone else to do it, she died. Can you comprehend that?
We are talking of Sylvia Spencer. Now, you were willing to give her elaborate and expensive treatment. Why?
I couldn't let her die.
Nor apparently could you let her go to a national health doctor, because then her child would have been out of your reach, wouldn't it?
Tried to get her to go to a national health doctor.
She has said that you didn't. Suddenly, from believing that she really wanted the child, you realized that she didn't want the child after all. And, of course, by then it was too late to terminate the pregnancy. How did that change of mind come about?
Faced by the realities of the situation, on her own, away from her family.
At your suggestion.
Which she would have had to have been anyway, even if she decided to keep the child. She suddenly found that life was too tough for her.
But with all your experience, could you not tell that within 8 weeks this change would have taken place?
I thought she was more resilient.
You appear to have a less profound psychiatric insight than you would have us believe.
I wouldn't have you believe I have a profound psychiatric insight at all. I'm not a psychiatrist.
Evidently. So why did you not take a second opinion from someone who was when you first saw Miss Spencer?
It wasn't necessary.
But you did think it necessary to deliver this child by caesarean section.
Yes.
Now, this means that the mother does not bear the child. She need not, in fact, ever see the child.
That's right.
Why did you think it necessary to perform this operation?
Do you want technical details?
Well, you have said that she had an antepartum hemorrhage, which indicated to you a placenta previa.
Then why are you asking me?
You have also said that Miss Spencer had a loss of blood, have you not?
Slight.
But Miss Spencer said she saw no sign of blood. How do you explain that?
She failed to notice.
Then why did you not point it out to her? I suggest, Dr. Francis, that the reason you performed this caesarean section was so that Sylvia Spencer would never see her baby and therefore would have no chance to form an attachment to it.
That is a monstrous suggestion.
It is, and I suggest that that is the case.
You're wrong.
Well, have you a single shred of corroborative evidence that that operation was necessary?
What an absurd question. Of course I've got no corroborative evidence. Why should I have? I don't go around asking second opinions on such elementary matters. I'd be a laughing stock.
But even the patient herself
The patient
cannot provide
herself
this
is a
evidence.
dozy... Oh. She isn't very bright, is she?
You said that you put her on a course, several courses of injections, have you not?
Yes.
And yet she can't remember them. Difficult things to forget, one would have thought. And these injections contributed to that phenomenal bill which you say Miss Spencer incurred.
They did indeed.
Folic acid, you have mentioned, iron injections, vitamin injections, all these things.
Yes.
Iron tablets currently sell for 16 pence per 100. And a complete course in vitamin tablets for 9 months would only cost 56 pence, that's right?
But those are all...
So it's about 90 pence for a complete pregnancy.
Intramuscular injections are far more
The
effective.
point I am making, Dr. Francis, is that your entire testimony concerning Miss Spencer's treatment has been a medical mumbo-jumbo concocted to confuse the jury. and to make a rather pedestrian pregnancy appear to be a huge financial undertaking in order to hide the staggering price which you extorted for this baby.
This is absolute rubbish. You don't know what you're talking about.
I suggest to you that Miss Spencer's treatment costs £500 or £600 at the most.
It cost £1,475.
Then why did you give her a bill for £500?
I didn't. She dreamed it. The cost was £1,475.
Now, Miss Spencer's child was born on the 4th of January, was it not?
Yes.
Did Sylvia Spencer ever see her baby after it was born?
I think not.
Why not?
She didn't want to.
Did you encourage her to see it?
Yes.
And yet she has said that you wouldn't let her see the child. Why would she say that, do you think?
Guilt, perhaps, at not wanting her own child.
Well, why did you not take the child to see her?
I didn't want to force her to increase her feelings of guilt.
Isn't the true reason that you had already put it beyond her power to see the child by giving it to Mrs. Hine, from whom you had already taken £2,000?
But Mr. and Mrs. Hine had agreed that the payment and the adoption were entirely separate.
But why didn't you not wait until Miss Spencer was certain she didn't want the child, or at least until after she'd signed the consent?
But she did sign the consent.
Miss Spencer can hardly have come round from the anaesthetic. And as you yourself have said, a mother can feel very bad after a caesarean, and that can it not, affect her attitude towards the child?
I thought you didn't trust my psychiatry.
I'm not asking your opinion, Dr. Francis. I'm asking you if it isn't a well-known fact.
No, I don't think it is a well-known fact. She
not
knew
have
what she
waited.
was doing. She wanted me to handle it as quickly as possible. She lives in Birmingham. She wanted to go home and have the whole thing finished with as quickly as possible.
I put it to you that you had no intention of letting Sylvia Spencer get her hands on that child, and that you hustled and bamboozled her at every turn, and that she depended on you to such an extent that she believed everything you told her.
That simply is not true.
Now then, you've said that Mrs. Hine came to your practice in the first week of January and accepted your offer of this infant.
Yes.
And you've also said that you told her what she would have to pay.
What she would have to pay and for what she would have to pay it.
That £500 was for her own treatment.
Yes.
And you've told my learned friend that you were Mrs. Hine's GP as well as her gynaecologist.
Yes.
Which she denies. You've also said that she is a hypochondriac.
Yes.
And yet you yourself have told us that since June, when you finally advised her she was unlikely to be able to have children, from June until January, she ceased to consult you. Now, is it possible that such a hypochondriac as you have described could go so long without seeing a doctor?
Well, evidently she didn't think she was ill.
Yes, but it's not necessary, is it, for a hypochondriac to be
You'd
ill?
have to ask her why she didn't consult me.
The reason is very plain. She did not consult you because you were not her GP, and that £500 was for the baby and not for her treatment. And it is also plain that Miss Spencer's treatment did not cost what you have claimed, and that the money you took from Mr. and Mrs. Hine was not to cover that treatment, but to pay you for the baby.
That most certainly is not the case.
And in view of the 7 other adoptions you have arranged, I would like the jury to consider whether it is not probable that this is a continuing operation which you have been undertaking for some time.
That suggestion is beneath contempt.
Members of the jury, as I expect you know, the prosecution must prove the accused guilt to your entire satisfaction before you can convict. So that means that you must be sure that the accused did induce Mrs. Hine to make that payment, representing that the money was for Miss Spencer's medical expenses, and that his statement of what those expenses were was false. Dr. Francis is not on trial before you for any part he might have played in an illegal payment for the adoption of a child. But something which learned counsel have not mentioned is the possibility that neither party viewed these payments as payment for medical expenses. And you must consider this, because in that case, Mrs. Hine was not deceived about those expenses. She was simply a willing party to a corrupt transaction for the adoption of a child, and, paradoxically enough, the accused would not be guilty of the charge he now faces, namely obtaining money by false pretences. Will you now please retire and consider your verdict?
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant, Jonathan Austin Francis, guilty or not guilty of obtaining property by deception?
Guilty.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes. Jonathan Austin Francis, the verdict of the jury is that you are guilty of obtaining property by deception. The jury have found the evidence conclusive that, in gross breach of the standards expected of your intelligence and of your profession, you took advantage of the position of trust which you occupied with one of your patients, and using your knowledge of her unhappy situation, you obtained from her by lies a very large sum of money. If this were not your first offence, I would sentence you to a considerable term of imprisonment. As it is, secure as I am in the knowledge that the members of your own profession will not allow you to disgrace their numbers for longer than is absolutely necessary, I find myself able to pass a sentence which will not deprive you of your liberty. The sentence of this court is that you pay a fine of £1,500. You will also pay £1,500 compensation to Mrs. Hine and £500 towards the costs of the prosecution.
Next week, you can join the jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch another leading case in the Crown Court.